Hi and welcome to September 2022 Patreon rewards video. I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is that one of the pieces that I was going to share this month, the publication of that piece was postponed a whole month. So that means that I won't be able to share it this month. I'll have to share it next month. But I can share all the other work that I have done. And the other thing is that, but the good news is that I did a lot of artwork this month. So I have something to share this time around that I didn't last time. All right, so let's get started. I started working on my comic book again. And this time around, I've decided, well, there's a few things that happened. I was looking at my script. I was reading what I've written. I started looking at what I've done, and I started thinking about how far I've come in 3 years that I've been working on this thing, and I've gone nowhere. Like, it's just barely moved. And then I was thinking, how can I make this so that it could go faster? Because what's happening is I'm getting tired of working on it. Like, I don't like working on it, and I don't want that to happen. It's not moving fast enough. So one of the things that I decided that I was going to do in order to help me get the comic out and to make it fun and to just get me going faster was that I'm going to I decided that I was going to not color it. That's step one. I'm going to, and I'm not going to ink it, so it's going to be in pencil. And I've decided I don't, and at this point, I'm not 100% sure what the final look is going to be. I don't know if I want to simplify it. I've got a lot of examples of different comics that are in pencil or in black and white and in different stages of simplicity. And I'm still not quite sure what it's going to be, look like at the end. But right now, this is sort of where I'm at. I think I may put shading in it, or I may put, I don't know. I may add a little bit of darkness, or I don't know what. But this is the work in progress. This is where say this is say a final page. I'm not quite sure if it's final, because now that I'm looking at it, maybe I could just at least put some darkness on her hair or something, right? So I'm thinking of that. So this is where this comic is at right now. And this is the second page, which is supposed to be drawn by someone who doesn't know how to draw very well. So what I did was I drew this all left-handed without constructing anything. So I didn't construct anything. I just drew it with my left hand. And so the wobbliness and the lack of control is because that's how I draw it left-handed. It's all wobbly, and I don't have any control over what I'm doing. And I drew like people think drawing is, which is just drawing the exteriors. And so when you do that, you end up with very it's a little bit out of control and stuff. So that was the idea here, because the gag is that later on she gets called out on how bad her drawings are. But I even in order to save time, like, everything I'm doing is shortcuts. It's shortcuts. Like, that's all I'm thinking about all the time. How can I shortcut this so I just get it done and just move, right? So I actually imported a photo of a what's it called, like a little pad, like a tripod. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm just gonna trace it. And maybe I might make the legs not thin like it is in the actual thing. I may actually make it, like, say, out of wood, make it look like it's out of wood. But I that's what I did. I just took the photograph, I put it in here, and I'm just going to trace the photo. Why can I draw it? Yeah, sure, but I'm super lazy. I just want to just get it done. This needs to be done, right? Like this is all I'm doing is just shortcuts as much as I can. So I mean that's this is the rough acting comps of the of the thing. Okay, and so here is another thing. I was doing a lot of experimenting here, of just heads, and styles, and seeing what worked, what doesn't work. I also did some tracing over CG models to see if that's gonna speed things up, whether it's helpful or not. So, for example, here I have this pose that I took, and here let me share with you where I got this. Okay, so I took this CG model and then I traced it, and then I put this head on it that I had already drawn earlier. That if you saw, I had already drawn this head, and then I put the head on the CG model, and it's and I changed the chest because that's this was kind of a Power Girl type. It reminded me of Power Girl, so I just kind of decided. And then and I changed the physique of the character, so she had bigger hips, and she was a little bit broader. So and I'm like, I wonder if will this help? Is this helpful? I don't know. I'll have to try it. I'll probably do some videos about drawing over CG models. Like I said, I'm not 100% sold that this might save me any time. But it might be useful in other things. The problem with CG models is that you have to pose them out, and it takes a while to pose them out. And sometimes you can just do a quick gesture and then just do it yourself. It's just faster. So more experimentation with heads, 3/4, different hairstyles, different types of eyes, different nose shapes. This is a little bit more anime. Trying to solve this anime shape. Here's some more. Some more. Some more. And so this kind of costume that they're wearing is just like a superhero costume. If they were wearing superhero costumes, it's more like a wetsuit, it looks like. But again, just playing around. This is one of the pieces. So I did a version of it last month, and I don't think I shared it. I made a video of me making the piece, but the final piece ended up being it ended up looking like this because the person who commissioned me to do the piece didn't like what I'd done with the upper area where I had Tree of Life and Jesus' face on it and all this other stuff. She didn't like, my client didn't like it. All that stuff. She liked the bottom part with my wife over here, but she didn't like the top part. So I needed to combine the notion of the Tree of Life and hiking and all this other stuff. So she's going on a hike and she's touching the tree, but the tree is an icon of the Tree of Life. So, and an icon, if you know anything about an icon, is that it's a window to something more cosmic. It's kind of like the picture on the icon is is like the phone number of the person you're calling, right? So that's what the image is supposed to be. So if the tree is a picture of the thing you're calling, and thing you're calling is the tree of life, then when you touch a tree, you're touching the tree of life. So, and the tree of life being something good and cosmic, and so that's why the tree is glowing, because you're not seeing just the tree that she's touching, you're seeing past the tree to the tree that she's touching. That's the idea. That was the point of this picture, is that when you go on a hike surrounded by trees, there's something more going on. That's the point. Okay. There's a drawing here that I did. It's a perspective. It's a sketch for a video that I did. I ended up having to take a screenshot of my drawing because when I opened up the file, I realized I never saved this final image. Somewhere along the line, I just never pressed save. So the final image, the final line drawing that I did in that file doesn't exist. So you will get the preliminary rough drawings in the PSD file for anybody who downloads the PSD files. But the final sketch like this isn't in there. So I decided to just take a screenshot. This is as best as I could do. And I kind of wanted to have at least this much, because maybe I'll go back and do this thing or finish this drawing, and I need to at least have what I actually kind of developed, even if it's just a screenshot of it. Oh, and this is this month's postcard. So here we go. This is the postcard. So I decided with this postcard that I wanted to do something more cartoony, and I wanted to just color it, not paint it, but color it. And as I was doing it, I realized that I need to practice way more than on coloring. It was and the process wasn't ideal. Like I didn't like the process that I used to do this. So one of the things that I did was I did the drawing, and then I colored it, and then I inked it. And I don't think that's the best approach. I think I should have inked it first and then colored it. But this is this month's postcard. And the winner of this month's postcard is Craig K. Craig, you won this month's postcards. Congratulations! So this is Major Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. This is actually a copy-ish of a drawing that Masamune Shiro did of Major Kusanagi. So he drew Major Kusanagi on a mecha. So I took the drawing that from obviously chest up, and then I isolated that, and then I decided to just copy the pose, copy the little doodads on her. But I didn't want to do Major Kusanagi the way that he drew it. I kind of wanted to draw it the way I would do it, and I also wanted to draw it a little bit more like the Netflix CG season 3 of the Ghost in the Shell. I forgot the name of it. It escapes me right now. Standalone Complex. Yeah, that's it. And so I kind of wanted to marry both ideas. The new the look of the standalone complex Major Kusanagi, drawn the way I would do it, but from Masamune Shiro's drawing of Major Kusanagi. So it's just like a hodgepodge of stuff like that. I think I'm going to start copying more. And I actually recorded a video of the making of this postcard, and I talk a little bit more why I've copied it and what copying means to me. In this case, in the way that I'm gonna continue to do this sort of thing. This month I actually managed to make it to the zoo with all my friends from work. So we hung out at this kind of hog type animal. I forgot what the name of this type of animal was, but they were extremely active. They were moving so much. So it was really challenging and fun to try to capture uh, these animals while they were moving so much. And then there was a squirrel that was jumping around, so we decided to draw the squirrel. And there was a raven that showed up, and it was really huge and big. And we just finished watching uh, Sandman, and we were talking about Matthew the raven, and so we were like, "Ooh, look, it's Matthew," and yeah, and the whole Sandman thing, that's a whole other thing. But I'm a huge fan of the comic, so it's really fun. And it was really nice to be able to talk to my friends about that show, because we're nerds and we've been fans of that comic for so long. And so here, this is the last drawing I did. It's kind of lousy. And then there's this. So I had my sketchbook. I was drawing on my sketchbook, and it was folded over, and I had it placed on the bar, and then the fence, and then there was the animal pen, and then my sketchbook was on the fence, and this is how rusty that fence was. It friggin' stained my sketchbook. So now that I have a stained sketchbook, I kind of want to do something with it. I don't know what. So I'll think about what to do with this texture now that I have on my page. It was unintended, but let's see if I can figure out something fun to do with it. And that's it. That's this month's artwork. Just a lot of experimentation, a lot of playing, working on my comic. So yeah, like we'll see where this stuff goes. I mean, I kind of want to work more on my sketchbook, trying to figure out a good way to color stuff, what a good process is. Another thing that I kind of want to do is draw it like this, and then use acrylic paint, which is much more opaque, and try to figure out how to play with opaque paints without watering them down like I have, because when I water them down, there might as well be watercolors. I'm still very insecure about that. I want to figure out a process to make things very opaque and very sharp and stuff like that. So okay, so that's it from me. That's this month's artwork. Thank you so much for supporting me. It really is helpful to me. I hope that this is adequate rewards for you for that support. But so thank you so much, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.